Hi, good day everyone. I'm Pon Komati Virasingan, Guru Chamalang Kimia from SMJK Eva Maria Convent, Ipoh. And with me today, you're going to learn on topic application of nanotechnology in industry. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to explain the meaning of nanotechnology, and secondly, you will be able to describe nanotechnology with examples and its application in daily life.
Today, we are going to talk about nanotechnology. When we say something is nano, we mean it is very small. The size of 1 nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter, which is about 100,000 times smaller than the width of a human hair. Making new things at this incredibly small scale is called nanotechnology, and it's one of the most exciting and fast-moving areas of science today.
So now, what do you understand on the word nano? The term nano comes from ancient Greek means truth. So nano means which is something which is extremely very small, okay? Now, and nano is used as a prefix which denotes the value of 10 power of negative 9, just as kilo denotes 10 power of 3 and milli 10 power of negative 3. Now, among the studies on these tiny structures, there are those that relate to nanoparticles, which are graphite and gold nanoparticles that have contributed to the rapid development of nanoscience and nanotechnology. So, what do you understand about the two terms I mentioned just now, nanoscience and nanotechnology? Now, let's look at it. Nanoscience is a study on processing of the substance at nanoscale, and for your information, the substance must fit into the criteria range of 1 nanometer to 100 nanometers. Okay, and then how about the nanotechnology? Nanotechnology is the development of the substances or gadgets using the properties of nanoparticles. So when you are producing a product using the nanoparticles, that involve nanotechnology. So here I have summarized the relationship between nanoscience to nanotechnology in a Venn diagram. So nanoscience is a field of study, and nanotechnology is a subset for nanoscience. That means we use the knowledge of the nanoscience in developing the product using the nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is actually very wide, going across various disciplines like physics, biology, chemistry, medicine, and engineering. Carbon derivative, that is known as graphite, is the most important material in nanoscience and nanotechnology due to its size, which is approximately to 0.1 nanometer. Graphite can be converted into other materials including graphites, carbon nanotubes, and fullerene balls. In nanotechnology, carbon and its allotropes plays a very important role. So now you must understand what is allotropes. Allotropes is the elements is the same element, and we give a different name for the structure based on the arrangement of the atoms. Okay, so like now carbon, due to the different arrangement of the atoms of carbon in the structures, we have given the carbon elements, the carbon compounds, different name for it. For example, carbon can form several allotropes such as graphene, graphite, diamond, and fullerene, and carbon nanotube. So now, as I told you just now, the carbon allotropes are derived due to the different arrangement. Okay, basically carbon have three different type of arrangement. They are diamond. Okay, how's the arrangement of diamond looks like? This is the arrangement of diamond. Next, hexagon. This is the arrangement of hexagon, of carbon atoms in hexagon form, and this we call it as graphene. and polyhedron. This is the arrangement for polyhedron. They are in the form of ball. Okay, based on the arrangement of the carbon atoms in the structure, we have given the name for it. So those carbons had been arranged in a form of diamond, we call the structure as diamond. And when the carbons are held in a form of hexagon arrangement, then we call this as graphene. And the one which is in a form of polyhedron, we call it as fullerene. So let's look closely on graphene. Okay, this is what we call graphene. Graphene in hexagon form, and it will be one layer. So graphene is the arrangement of the external carbon into a lattice structure to form a layers. It forms the layers. And then for fullerenes, which in the form of polyhedrons, it will look like a kind of ball. Okay, now, so the fullerene is made up from multiple transited isohedron folded together in a form of sphere. So when you see the structure in a form of sphere, then the name for the carbon is called fullerenes. So remember class, diamond, graphene, fullerene, they are all carbon elements. Based on different arrangement, we give them a different names. Okay, from graphene, in nanotechnology, we can transform the graphene into two different types of materials, which are known as graphite and carbon nanotube. Okay, now let's look closely about what is graphite. Okay, as you can see, this is how the structure of graphite looks like. So what is actually graphite? As I told you, graphite comes from graphene. Now, the graphite is a layer of graphene placed on top of each other. So as we have seen earlier, graphene is an hexagonal shape of arrangement of carbon atoms which forms the layers. Okay, now when you stack up the layers one after to another, that is what forms graphite. We give them a different structure, but originally graphite comes from graphene. And let's look at the second material that we can form from graphene, that is called carbon nanotube. Okay, what is carbon nanotube? This is how the carbon nanotube looks. Okay, it's in a form of tube. When the carbon nanotube is actually the graphene had been folded into a form of tube. So in nanotechnology, we are widely using graphene because of their super properties that owned by graphene, and most of this graphene had been used in nanotechnology in the form of carbon nanotube or graphite. Graphite is the world's strongest material, and it has extraordinary thermal and electrical conductivity. Besides that, it also thin, light and flexible, and most importantly, is transparent. Okay, the chemical properties of graphite is because graphite able to burn at a lower temperature, so it's most widely had been used in nanotechnology. And besides that, graphite is the most reactive carbon electrodes. And recently, many research had been conducted on graphite, and they have invented graphite oxide, which are suitable to be used as a catalyst in many industrial processes. The uses of graphites are as below. Firstly, it's used in super fast high capacity batteries, to develop efficient solar panels, to make ultra fast computer chips, sensors for the next generations, in developing strong and light polymers and composite materials, and in development of innovative biomedical equipments and also in water treatments. Okay, now we are moving on to the application of nanotechnologies in daily life. Actually, nanotechnologies had been used in various fields, so today we're going to focus into 6 different fields. Firstly, on semiconductors and electronics. In semiconductors and electronics, the nanotechnology had been used in manufacturing of semiconductor and computer chips and other electronic circuits due to the properties of nanoparticles, which are very small and they are very efficient as a semiconductors and also high conductivity in wiring systems. Next, in energy and electricity, the nanotechnology had been used in development of more efficient solar cells and batteries. The next application of nanotechnology is in textile industries. In textiles, water, fire and dirt-resistant fabrics were developed using a nanotechnology. And beside that, we also implement nanotechnology in development of anti-wrinkle and UV protective fabrics. In medical, the nanotechnology had been used to develop highly sensitive testing devices and more effective drug delivery system. For example, graphene and its derivative material present a high potential towards medical and biological applications, including drug delivery and bioimaging, due to their exceptional properties such as thermal conductivity and high specific surface area. For example, as you can see here in silver nanoparticles, okay, it has the property of antibacterial. And for information, the silver nanoparticles is a nanoparticle had been developed in nanotechnology, and now it's been used in inventing a facial mask. And whereas for drug delivery sector, we are using nanobots to monitor the body from inside and also to treat a targeted area inside the human body. Next, in agriculture, the nanotechnology had been used in developing more effective pesticides and high efficient and thorough fertilization for the yield to produce at the high and optimum levels. Besides that, nanotechnology also helps in pest protection and disease detection among the crops in the early stage, which leads to increase the productivity. In food, the nanoparticles had been used at nanoscale as a food additives, and besides that, due to their antimicrobial properties, they were widely used to develop a food packaging. Okay, now as you can see, this is the new invention of fridge using nanotechnologies. Okay, what's the difference between the common fridge to this fridge, the surface is coated with nano silver particles, because nano silver particles have the antimicrobial properties that's well protected. Okay, and beside that, these nano silver particles also widely used in developing food packages. And beside these nano silver particles, we are also using other nanoparticles to be used as sensors in all readily packed food to diagnose or to determine us on the real condition of the food in a real time, despite of their expiry date.